It now takes approximately 3 seconds to change all 4 tires on an F1 car and re-enter the race. Blink and you will miss it. The speed is incredible, but it does not happen by chance. Pit stops are such an important part of F1 strategy that teams put in a lot of practice time. Every component must work together, and the key to success is consistency, not just speed. So, what exactly does it take to perform it flawlessly? Any F1 pit stop typically involves more than 20 people. This team has a set lineup, with each member assigned to a specific role. They are all mechanics working on different jobs on either car, but they also serve both cars in the pits together. The lineup never changes unless someone becomes ill or is unable to attend, in which case there is a reserve for every position, and most team members are also trained in other roles just in case. Before the season begins, teams practice thousands of pit stops on rigs in their factory, honing the team and optimizing the various positions. This is a competitive process, with mechanics vying over various roles. The jacks used to lift the car up in the front and back used to be simple trolleys, but they have evolved into heavy, sophisticated devices. They raise when a handle is pushed down and have an auto-drop mechanism to save time. The front jack pivots as well, allowing the operator to step out of the way. Teams may also have a side jack, which is used if the front wing is damaged, rendering the front jack ineffective. Because the front jack is so complex, each one costs around $250,000, and at least 2 are required for backup. Wheel guns, which are used to remove and tighten the central nut that holds each wheel in place, are just as complicated. They operate at 26 bar pressure, rotate at more than 10,000 revolutions per minute, and automatically switch from loosen to tighten while in use. Every garage has 24, including spares, and the majority of them have been modified to improve performance. Mechanics used to hold their hands up once they were done with their job, but now the guns have a button they press for confirmation. If something goes wrong, the gunner raises their arms in the air in a cross sign. A car may require more than just new tires at times. Teams frequently clear debris from the side pods, more so at some tracks than others, to ensure air has a clear path into the radiator for cooling. Another relatively common action is a front wing change, which usually occurs at the start if a driver is clipped in the wheel-to-wheel action. This could take between 10 to 15 seconds to complete. Sometimes electrical problems necessitate a steering wheel swap. The wheel has a quick release mechanism, and 2 team members will be present in this case to take the wheel from the driver and click on the new one. Longer jobs, such as suspension checks after an incident, can be excruciating as time passes. If additional work is required, a vehicle will be jacked up and wheeled back into the garage. If it can be repaired quickly, it may run again to use the race as a test. Just like a golfer honing their swing, repetition is essential to getting it right every time. And in pit stops, every millisecond counts. Every team has a practice rig at their factory, and many of them use an electric dummy car. This is where the team goes over the drills several times. They also practice challenging scenarios such as misalignment and nose changes. That's all well and good, but at the track, each pit lane is unique. It could be slanted, have distracting markings or drains, or be closer or farther away from the pit gantry. These may appear to be minor details, but they can have a significant impact. Teams practice every day of a race weekend, including race day morning, to become accustomed to these distinct differences. The car is pushed into position, and the crew acts exactly like they would in a race. Each team plans differently, but sessions are typically 30 minutes long. During official practice sessions, teams also conduct live practices with their car approaching at full speed. This allows the driver to fine-tune their stopping procedure while also providing the team with a more realistic test. To stay fit for the job, mechanics put in a lot of physical training. They must be both strong and agile, as the wheel gun torque twists the arms and shoulders, and the wheels weigh more than 10 kilograms. Most teams run fitness programs to improve core stability and strength, which helps to maximize performance while also lowering the risk of injury. Video analysis is used to optimize specific movements, and for positions that require more strength, such as the tire lifter, there is more upper body training to help bulk up. Meanwhile, the driver must not only be able to spot his pit, which is aided by a sign on the pit wall, but he must also stop his car in precisely the right spot. The team is precisely positioned, and any misalignment, either too far forward or back, or too close to one side, will require the crew to adjust their position. This can cost precious time, or even knock the jackman to the ground, as Lewis Hamilton did in practice for the 2021 Russian Grand Prix. When the car comes to a complete stop, the driver shifts into neutral and keeps his foot on the brake to prevent the wheels from turning. He will also grip the steering wheel tightly in order to prevent the front wheels from moving. He then starts the launch sequence and focuses entirely on the light gantry. When the light turns green, the driver shifts back into first gear and hits the throttle, remembering to keep the speed limiter engaged until crossing the pit lane exit line. At the end of the 2019 season, F1 pit stops had reached record speeds. Red Bull set the fastest ever time with a stop of just 1.82 seconds for Max Verstappen in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Teams were consistently taking around 2 seconds, and the governing body became concerned that this was approaching the human limit. As a result, a new technical directive was put in place. This requires the certain procedures within the stop to take no less than 0.15 seconds, and that the signal sent between the tire gunner and the light gantry be no slower than 0.2 seconds. The directive also reminds teams that all pit equipment and crew actions must be human-controlled, not automated. When combined, this has increased pit stop speeds closer to 3 seconds, and the FIA now uses high-speed cameras installed above every single pit gantry to ensure teams follow the rules. What are your thoughts on F1 pit stops? Should the FIA give teams more leeway to make them even faster? Let us know in the comment section down below.